All right. Hey, Carlin. It's great to see you.
Hello, Francis. It's good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
I love that color on you. Looks really nice.
Thank you. My favorite color.
All right. So, why don't we do a quick intro? If you could tell everyone just who you are, a little bit about what you do, and then we'll jump into our topic on visioning today.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. I specialize in helping people through the journey of just rebuilding their life. So it's called somatic practitioner, and some people don't know what that means. So, in a nutshell, it's just giving people permission to feel again, feel their emotions, feel their desires, their maybe stuck emotions from past situations like toxic stress
Mhm.
that wasn't allowed to be felt because of life, busy person. And so I just allow and that space for that person and help them along the way to be able to dream again so they can live a fulfilling life.
Amazing, amazing. And I mean, I know a little bit about your story, but I think it's really incredible that you're doing this kind of work just based on all the challenges that you've been through in your life. Um, and yeah, and if you're comfortable today, you could share a little bit, or you don't have to. But I'm curious about in terms of a vision, like why. So you're speaking on why having a vision board is really important. Why having a vision in general is important. Like what? How did you first get into like doing vision boards and this sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I I advertise myself or market my services online, and sometimes as human beings we don't want like seeing like the process of feeling. It's too scary, right? That's why I'm here to help people. And so what I did, like instead of just showing them what it's like or just like the emotional part, I kind of help them see the benefits. And so my strategy has switched to let me show you what you can do, and that is having a vision, kind of switching it from like, oh, the healing work, because we all kind of know that it's very popular in America right now, to let
Mhm.
me show you something very sexy, which is the vision board. And then we can work on how to get there.
Okay, amazing. So it's like shifting from more of like a past, present to like a future focus.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see behind you that is that your vision board
Yes.
there?
Yes, it is.
Awesome, awesome. So, for people who've maybe never done anything like this before, can you sort of just explain what it is? Like, what is that sort of visual behind you?
Yeah, so a lot of people have done this. Like usually they do it around, like December 31st or in late December, the beginning of January. And a lot of people have different ways of doing it, but I really found a mentor that's really in her perspective and her strategies are very unique. And so I was mentored by her to do this process.
Okay.
And yeah, it's all of her knowledge from like 30 years. She only does this. And so I've had the great, pleasure of learning from her. And I've seen great results with myself, because it's not all about just cutting beautiful pictures of a magazine and just pasting it, or even doing an online vision board. It's deeper than that. And
Hmm.
so walking, it's for example like my process when I walk people through this, a team, it's 6 hours.
Wow. It's
Yes.
intense.
So yes.
Wow.
So yeah, it's very different and unique, and it's very powerful because you get to really just soak in what are you really feeling and missing. A lot of
Mm,
us walk around life knowing that there's something more, that
yeah.
we've been created for a purpose driven life. And
Hmm.
we dig into that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so a 6 hour process. And like, so just out of curiosity, I've done vision boards on my own, but not like in a 6 hour process. Like, what kinds of questions to reflect on? I know it's a little bit, we're a quarter into the year, but for people who haven't sort of committed to a vision for this year, because that does make such a huge difference, even in our day to day, especially on our hard days, to be committed and to have a vision in mind of where we're headed. What kind of questions would you ask people to reflect on, like around creating this vision board?
Yeah, well, even for people that have done it already and they're just like, you know what? We're a quarter in and I think I just did it in a rush just because everybody else was doing it. And
Right.
so even to these people, like one of the exercises that I love to do because it's so personalized is your color. Like what is your favorite color? And
Mhm.
then why does it speak to you? And then we just go further and further into it, like during the day, if you see this color on your vision board, what does it make you feel? And it's so
Hmm.
important to customize it to you to make you feel what makes you feel good and empowered so that you can stay in that state.
Okay. Okay, really interesting. So there's like a lot of meaning to color. And what other things would you sort of encourage people to reflect on as they're doing this?
Yeah, I it's hard for people to dream big. And
Hmm.
so I like help them with mindset shifting. And so oftentimes I'm like, but this is for a year. This I'm gonna have to accomplish this for a year. I get that a lot. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is for like a year to 5 years. And
Hmm.
and it's okay to dream. Like it's okay. Tell me what you're thinking about. And sometimes there's like an off belief of like, but I'm being unrealistic or I'm wanting too much. There's no way I can reach this. I'm like, no, no, like let's start again. And then I help them with just kind of more of processing so that they
Hmm.
can really just not feel afraid to dream. And
Yeah,
sometimes people don't want a big life, and that's okay too. Uh,
yeah.
that's totally fine. It's everyone is so different, and that's why I love this work because
Mhm.
I get to see everyone in just enlighten and just see what everybody wants from their life.
Right, right. I remember a few years ago I was doing a visualization on like dreaming big and sort of picturing the details of that fu- future that I did. And I remember as I was looking through all of the, visualizing the details that there was this like fear that came up and like just a lot of emotion attached to dreaming big. And I'm wondering like how you help people process that and what that's about, that like people are like sometimes blocked from dreaming big.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, one of the ways is just going back into childhood. Um, and there's a lot of things that come into play, like what happened in a specific memory. And I call it the compassion method.
Okay.
And really bring in love and comfort to that inner child of
Hmm.
like what happened that you're not allowed to dream big, like what happened in that moment. It's
Right.
just sometimes it's really on the surface level. Um, it's right there. It's you don't really have to dig deep. And so I just facilitate that awareness so that they can rewire that memory, bring in
Hmm.
new information so that it could be, I call it like detach from
Yeah.
just that painful experience.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So this actually goes back to a long time ago to potentially like traumatic or like small T trauma memories from
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go really deep with this vision board stuff.
I do.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm curious about if you don't mind sharing in terms of so I see that you've created your vision board behind you there. Just what you're dreaming big about and your process of getting here to this point where you're fully holding on to and like fully looking at without looking away at these dreams that you have, um, and taking full ownership of it.
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful experience because even when I didn't believe, like I was half believing in my future with my
Mm,
vision board, I still meditated on it. I still talk about it, and I see it now that I can really own it.
yeah.
And so there is this process of like, I don't know, like maybe not. This is what's in my heart, but this sounds silly. And it's just this awkward, like mix of emotions, but
Mhm.
not being afraid of talking about it. It starts manifesting, if we want to use that word, or it starts becoming real. And so, for example, I say that because on my vision board, I have that I want to open up a shelter for women who have been abused. And
Wow.
so that is that is what I want to do. And I have steps that I also walk people to know, okay, this is my vision and how am I going to get there? Like I have exercises, steps to be able to actually make that happen.
Hmm.
And I I have to even be careful in who I date, because
Mhm.
that's brought me so much clarity in who I want to date. And
Mm.
so last year I dated someone that wasn't really into the stuff that I want to do. Like I call it mission work, or I'm
Mm.
a social worker. And so, I love being with people that are quote unquote like unlovable, because
Mm.
I get to inspire them and help them with treatments that are proven to help them. So that was helpful. So now I'm not with that person. It's been like maybe 7 months, I think. And now I'm speaking to someone else who really is into working with people that need help.
Right.
And so it just helps me to align things and helps
Yeah.
me with just making my beautiful life. So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So you're um, having this vision board has given you clarity, like in many, like all areas of your life. It's not just like business, for example, but even the kind of relationships that you want,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
your intimate relationships. I love that. Um, and so for So I know probably a lot of people have tried doing vision boards, but maybe on a more superficial level, like you said earlier, like they're just me cutting out a few nice things that they see in magazines. It's like, oh, I want to go on vacation, and it's sort of just surface level. Um, what kind of advice would you give to people now who really want to drill down on getting a much clearer vision of their life? Like, what kind of steps would you advise them to take now?
Would definitely tell them to contact me.
Okay.
um, because really, like you can't do this alone. I didn't do this alone, right?
Yeah.
Um, but just little steps. If you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should contact Carlin, um, I would really, I would really advise them to take a sip of your tea or your wine or whatever you drink at night, and really take a moment. It doesn't have to be long, maybe 5 minutes, and reflect. Like, time is passing, the years are passing. You're not
Yeah.
getting any younger. We're getting older, and like, what are you gonna do with this? I don't know if you have 20 years. left, based on statistics, or like, how are you going to take care of yourself when you're older?
Mhm.
Is it with your 9 to 5 job? Is it with your business that it's sort of working out? Like, there really needs to be some clarity,
Yeah.
so that you can really just take care of yourself and your family. Like, at the end of the day, that's what we all want. Like, we don't want to live with Social Security, which everybody says that we're not going to have that anymore. I don't know. That's been the talk forever since my parents' age. So
Mm.
yeah, it's just having that security of like, okay, when I operate from my purpose and my alignment, and I will be able to be secure and successful. But if we're operating based on like what people say, or just out of different ideas, then it's not going to work, because you're eventually going to get burnt out,
Mhm.
and it's not going to work out.
Mhm. Yeah, this kind of the mortality motivation, I think is really great motivator, um, and it reminds me of what I read before about one of the top 5 regrets of the dying, that I wished I had lived a life true to myself, like not according to others' expectations. And it seems like, you mentioned Social Security and things like that, that a lot of people make decisions like just based on safety and survival, but at the end of their lives, that might be one of their biggest regrets, that they didn't do anything that they were passionate about or they felt called to do, or that that there was an assignment on their lives to do, like for you to build that shelter. And it's definitely a more challenging path to take those risks, but also it's really challenging to get to the end of your life and to regret the way that you've lived your whole life, which is why I so appreciate that you're talking about this topic of visioning, because if we do have limited time, and how we're living today, it's like how we spend our lives. If we have no vision right now, we get to the end of our lives, and we're just full of regret. And so I really appreciate this really important work that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so just to wrap up today, so you actually, Carlin, are going to be one of the pre-recorded guest speakers at the event coming up on April 7th and 8th. And so if you sign up for the event, I'll link that underneath the video here. You will get to hear Carlin share more in depth on how to create a vision board and all those really important questions we should be reflecting on, like virtually every year, but even more often than that, all the time, to make sure that our life is in alignment. So if you would like to learn more from Carlin, you can also sign up for the 2-day event below, and you will get that training. And so I just want to thank you, Carlin, so much for what you shared today. I think your what you're doing is really making a difference in people's lives. And so thank you for this really important work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
All right. So we will wrap it up here. And thanks for your time today, Carlin. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day.
Yeah, you too, Francis. I love your work as well. I can't wait to just continue collaborating. And yeah, there's plenty of people to really empower, and just like pull them up to a higher performance.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're doing this. Thank you for having me, and for just considering that even though people might have already done this, that the vision board, that there are some people that need a deeper vision board. So yeah, thank you.
Exactly. All right. Thank you. All right, Carlin.